Welcome back to the 10-day countdown. We're picking up right where we left off, in the middle of the greatest financial reset in history. This is part 2, the Tungsten Treason. Day 2, 9 in the morning. The sun rose, but for the financial world it was still dark. The New York Stock Exchange was silent, no opening bell. For the first time ever, the markets were dead. Elias Thorne, once a top analyst, was now a man on the run. He stood in a cold London safe house, staring at a gold bar that wasn't gold at all. It was tungsten. Sarah Vance, the woman who had brought him this terrible truth, had just revealed the scale of the deception. Elias's voice was a whisper, filled with dawning horror. If the physical gold in the vaults is fake, then the new gold standard isn't a rescue, it's the final heist. Sarah pointed to her laptop, its screen glowing with stolen data from the London Bullion Market Association's internal servers. Look at the deep vault logs, Elias. From 2021 to 2025, they moved over 4,000 tons of pure gold bullion. The official reason? Audit transfers. But they replaced it with these. She tapped the heavy, gold-plated tungsten bar. A tungsten has almost the exact same density as gold. It passes every simple test. Weight, size, feel. Only ultrasound or drilling can expose the lie. Where did the real gold go? Elias asked, the question hanging in the cold air. To the sovereign cell, Sarah said, her face grim. The elites knew this was coming. They knew the dollar would collapse. So they moved the world's real wealth into a private, blockchain-encrypted vault that doesn't belong to any country. They're just waiting for the dollar to hit zero. Then they'll use that gold to buy up the entire world's assets for pennies. By day 3, the plan was working perfectly. Chaos ruled the streets of London, New York, and Tokyo. The dollar had lost 60% of its value overnight. Supply chains snapped. Store shelves were empty. People were hungry and terrified. Then, at precisely 12 noon, every smartphone on the planet buzzed. A mandatory update. The message was simple and brutally effective. To restore order, the old currency system is being retired. Introducing the Fed coin and global ID, all citizens who register their biometric data in the next 24 hours will receive a $5,000 stability credit in the new digital currency. It was a masterstroke of manipulation. They offered a lifeline to drowning people. Millions hit accept without a second thought, trading their freedom for digital tokens that could be controlled, tracked, and frozen with the press of a button. They were trading permanent chains for temporary bread. Elias and Sarah knew they were in a race against time. They had to get the truth out before the 10-day window closed. If they could broadcast the real proof of reserves to the world, showing that the vaults were empty, the central bank digital currency trap would fail. They had to go underground, literally. They slipped into the old postal museum tunnels, a forgotten underground rail network built to carry mail, a ghost system beneath the military checkpoints that now dotted London's streets. But the masterminds behind this, the shadowy Council of 12, had their own enforcers. They had deployed their liquidators, ruthless private mercenaries whose only job was to erase any trace of the Tungsten Treason, and anyone who knew about it. The silence of the tunnel was shattered by the sound of heavy boots echoing off the brickwork. "Elias, move!" Sarah hissed. A flashbang grenade exploded, filling the tunnel with blinding light and deafening noise. Submachine gun fire erupted, sparks flying as bullets ricocheted off the century-old walls. Elias dragged Sarah behind a rusted iron pillar. "The encryption key," he yelled over the gunfire. "Sarah, if they get you, the world stays in the dark forever." While Elias and Sarah fought for their lives in the tunnels of London, the global chess game was making its next big move. On day 5, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and their new partners, made a stunning announcement. They were launching their own currency, the Aureus Ledger. It wasn't just backed by gold, it was backed by oil, gas, food, and every other critical commodity. In one move, the US dollar was officially exiled from international trade. The petrodollar, the foundation of American power for 50 years, was dead. In Washington, the Federal Reserve was running the printing presses at full speed, creating trillions of dollars out of thin air just to keep the lights on. But it was worthless paper. No one wanted it. The gold ruble and the digital yuan were the new kings. But Elias knew the even darker truth. The BRICS leaders were in on it too. They knew about the tungsten. It was all a grand performance, a global stage play where every nation's leader had a part, and the only victim was the average person, left with nothing. Night, day 7. Elias and Sarah finally reached their destination, a nondescript warehouse in the forgotten London docklands. Hidden behind a maze of shipping containers was a single door, forged from reinforced carbon fiber. It looked impenetrable. Sarah stepped forward and placed her hand on a scanner, her eyes authenticating a 64-digit biometric code. The door hissed open, revealing a sight that stole the air from Elias's lungs. Rows upon rows of shimmering 400-ounce gold bars. The real stuff, Thousands of tons of it, the missing gold from the world's central banks. "This is it," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with awe and disgust. "The wealth of the old world, stolen to build the new one." In the center of the vast chamber sat a massive server, humming with immense power. The Genesis node, the heart of the new global financial system they planned to impose on everyone. "If we activate this node with the public key," Elias said, his mind racing, "we can bypass the elites. Every single person with a smartphone will get a direct share of this gold. No banks, no CBDCs, just peer-to-peer gold-backed freedom." As Elias reached for the activate button, a calm, commanding voice echoed through the vault. "I wouldn't do that, Elias." He spun around. Standing in the entrance, flanked by armed guards, was Sir Alistair Vance, Sarah's father. His face wasn't filled with malice, but with a profound weariness. "If you press that button," Sir Alistair said, his voice heavy, "the system collapses. All of it. No banks, no governments, no law. The world descends into a dark age that will last a century. But if you let us complete the 10-day countdown, we can transition peacefully. Yes, people will lose their privacy, but they won't lose their lives." Sarah stepped forward, her hand trembling with rage. "You lied to the entire world, Dad. You sold them a fantasy." "I gave them stability," Vance roared back, his composure finally cracking. At that exact moment, a huge countdown timer on the vault's main screen ticked over. 48 Doruk. Day 8 was beginning. The final 48 hours of the US dollar had just started. Elias's finger hovered over the activation button. One choice, chaotic, unpredictable freedom. The other, a comfortable, structured slavery. Outside, the sounds of sirens and explosions grew louder. The city was screaming, and Elias had to make a choice, to be continued